in-depth investigation is made, and submissions are made, even for those people who are alleging. They bring submission, and they were doing it on Hansard, but the whole volume is very big, and that precedence was made so that public can have confidence in decisions made by Senate. In the same vein, that's why the deputy governor, when they went through all the evidences, they said, no. This does not meet the threshold of impeaching a person.
Okay, let's go back to Embu. After Governor Wambora was impeached, the Constitution, of course, says that the deputy assumes office.
Yeah.
You came out and said we had a prior agreement within Embu,
Yeah.
between the Mbere and the Embu people, that this seat belonged to the Embu people.
Correct.
Has that position changed, or you still hold that the deputy governor, Dorothy Nditi, should not assume the office of governor?
Let me clarify two things. Number one, nature abhors a vacuum. So we cannot say we should have a vacuum in leadership in Embu. The issue, what I talked about, leadership coming to Embu and Bere like this, is a negotiated position.
Right.
It's not a legal position.
That's right.
And that negotiation, I still uphold that it should happen. Reason being, if you look at Constitution, Article 10, 2C, 2B, it talks about equity, social justice, fairness. This is the premise
For that arrangement.
Whereby it would be very unfair for us to say all the political leadership of the county goes to one tribe.
That's right.
So what you are saying that when and if there is a by-election to replace Nyaga Wambora, another person from Embu will take the seat.
If there is a by-election, if we negotiate with the DT and she agrees, then
She will remain deputy.
we don't want to vindicate her. We would even ask whoever is coming as governor, maybe they can even
maybe for the benefit of our viewers, what was the arrangement, the full scope of it? So the governor was to be taken by somebody from the Embu community?
Correct.
Okay, just give us the whole scope of all the other positions and how they're being shared to assure that there are no marginalized communities within Embu County. What was the arrangement?
In essence, there are only two major positions, that of governor and senator.
There's also women rep.
The effect of county women rep is not so big, if you look at it that way.
Okay.
Because National Assembly, even if you look at CDF is controlled by the MPs, and there's no conflict about MPs being Embu or Mbere. There are two of each.
Right.
So, but nonetheless, when we have the women leader coming from Mbere and the deputy governor coming from Mbere, and now the seat of governor, which was from Embu, goes back to Mbere, and the senator, who is me, is from Mbere, then Article 10, to me, is not observed.
Not observed.
Yes.
So in the circumstances, the Constitution has created a crisis in Embu, some sort of crisis in terms of political balance.
I think so.
What is the way forward?
Like I've said even previously, 2 days ago, this is a matter where the leaders of Embu need to sit. Because if we follow the law, then nothing is supposed to be done. But you cannot say an unfair thing should stay because there is a law. So long as we don't break the law, we sit and coalesce together, see what can be done, and if we come out with a negotiated settlement, I don't think there will be a problem. Also, we should not lose sight.
Yes.
Should in case the High Court, nullifies whatever has then Wambora would bounce back.
So you're optimistic.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. We should not be closed in a box here.
The action by MCAs from Embu may be replicated elsewhere in the 47 counties, and that's what's scaring the governors, that the MCAs might want to overrun the operations of the governor.
I don't think so.
And make his work very difficult, whereas the public is expecting the governor to perform, but the MCAs frustrate them.
I don't think so. I think what we should look at here is where are we in devolution? Our constitution, we started in, this issue of governance came only 1 year ago, actually less than a year. And I think we are doing very well in effecting devolution. If we compare, America took like 200 years, and for us here in Kenya, in 1 year we are trying to settle. What it means, if there are issues which are coming from governors, whether they are disagreeing with MCAs or with senators or with MPs, these are like teething problems, which I believe are going to settle, because everybody wants not governance. Everybody wants devolution to work. So if you listen to governors, they will talk about devolution. If you come to Senate, we are supposed to protect the counties, Article 96 of the Constitution, and we uphold that we are the custodians of devolution. So we can't let it go, because that's our baby. The governors, they also feel it's their baby. When you talk even to central government, they also feel devolution is their baby. So everybody wants devolution, and for it to work, there has to be some settlement issues. And I believe that's what happened.
There is a move by Nairobi governor, for instance, to set a fund. I think it's about 11 million for MCAs to control, to run their awards.
When did that come?
They are proposing that. And I suppose that will be replicated elsewhere. MCAs want a fund like CDF.
I've heard that even in my county. Yeah?
Isn't that a contradiction or separation of powers?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
If MCAs are going to get a fund to manage, just like MPs have got a CDF to manage or to oversee, isn't that a contradiction? That they are legislators, they cannot do executive work, they cannot do projects.
That's a very difficult question to answer, because I know in the Senate we are of the opinion that we should not be controlling such funds, because we are supposed to get funds, give to the governors, and control the way they spend the funds. Now, when it comes to mini CDFs and issues like that, they are a bit sensitive, because I'm aware that even my MCAs were demanding such funds. They would like to have even
and what's the position?
Offices about that.
Yes.
It is a matter which needs to be looked into.
When it's being looked into, how do you look at it yourself?
Not off the cuff.
In short,
when you look at in leadership, I don't believe in making off the cuff decisions. You have to look at the merits and the merits of every case.
Senator, a lot of governors are feeling besieged by the county assembly representatives. In fact, most of the cases of impeachment might arise out of that desire by MCAs to get more power, more allocations. They're pushing governors to the wall. Are you also monitoring this as Senate to see that really the protection of devolution means protecting the governments, but also they're functioning properly, so that each of those positions plays their roles. The governor does his work, and the MCAs also do their work without holding the governors at ransom.
You can't be more right, because governance is not about the preserve of one group. We are not looking at governance as if it's senators reigning on governors, or governors reigning on senators. It's a question of each arm of government making sure it's functioning. Actually, the success of devolution, and even at the national level, depends on what are the products, what services are you giving to the people. Then people appreciate the governance.
Right.
whether from Senate or from...
Might there be need for...
So that
Yeah.
also touches on the MCS.
Yeah, because MCS have become like this ravening, threatening, ravenous, I don't want to use
If you...
hard words, but they really are a
They're the ones
threat.
to bite.
Yeah, they really want to control the governors, and the governors have to dance to their tune, or we impeach you. And then at the end, it's the governors who have to bear the burden of the decisions they make.